definitief moet uitkyk.
Hier binne kan die kwartgebied van die Suid-Afrika se Jacques Olivier wat 'n besering opgedoen het. Hy is daar hard geloop deur die Franse agterspelers, miskien net sy wind wat uit is.
Dit was 'n ongelooflike goeie opsie wat daar geneem is deur daai kort skoppie. Hy was afgesny deur James Small, skoppie deurgesit, balbesit kon weer teruggewen het en die Springbokke is onder druk geplaas.
Kom ons kyk wat daar gebeur het. Jacques Olivier wat die bal onder druk kry, word daar vasgevat deur Kaba. Dan is dit Manel wat daar oor hom val. En Jacques Olivier wat daar hard met moeder aarde kennis gemaak het.
Dan 'n bekommerde faktor was dat ons die balbesit verloor het. Ons het die bal gewen, balbesit verloor het, fout gemaak het en ons is nou op die verdediging. Ons kon daai bal met goeie balretensie kon ons die bal teruggewen het en die spel weer opgesit het.
Willie Hills wat ook in sy eerste toets speel. Gelukkig vir Suid-Afrika, een van die plaasvervangers is 'n vleuel Dion Oosthuizen. Door Transvaal se Jacques Olivier. Aan die geselskap van Pieter Muller. Die eerste lyn staan van die wedstryd. Kom ons kyk waar word hierdie bal gegooi agterland. Kom die Franse agterlyn, Pinot wat vasgevat word. Dadelijk die Franse losvoorspelers vinnig by die afbreekpunt. Hier dan die eerste skrim van die wedstrijd.
Dan is het interessant om te sien dat Afrika 3 voorrijmannen gekies. So ons sal sien wat gebeur in die skram.
Hier in die diskant Heinrich Rogers wat skrim teen Louis Amery. Amery wat 100 kg weeg. Veteraan van 25 toetse. Daar draait wat wacht vir hom. Kyk waar staan Hubert. Redelijk plat. Meer as 90 grade geswaai.
Baie goeie linkerskouer daar deur die Franse. Hulle het ons onder druk gehad.
Bring nog voor hy Heinrich Rogers hier nie diskant.
Kom hy weer. Ja, kom hy weer.
Dit is krimskakel van die Franse Hubert. Daar is right. Belangrik dat naast Botha hierdie uitskop. Al wat hy nie gaan uitskop nie, Sadournay. Was 'n goeie skop van naast Botha. En die eerste keer dat Willie Hills geleentheid gaan kry om die bal in 'n toestand te gooi vir die Springbokke. Tweede behoort aan Johan Steiger. Sonnetjie wat nou agter die wolke wil uitskuif. Hierdie toetswedstryd is 3 minute oud, daar's nog geen telling nie. Adolf van Land wat spring vir hom, Gelnys wat hom oorstuur van naast Botha, Pieter Muller. Vryskop wat toegeken aan die Franse, aan Frankryk. Hubert, krimskakel. Kortskoppie wat hulle neem, kom hier agterlyn, dit is Manel wat die bal aangee aan die oorkant vir Sadournay. Wat dan 'n swakker gaan gee na die regtervleuel St. André.
Dan ons gaan moet kyk vir die ekstra man wat hulle bewerkstellig. Daai aangee reg wat is hulle weg.
Suid-Afrika die eerste ingooi, op eerste lyn staan op sy eie ingooi gewen, Willie Hills. Franse wil hom afneem, toch Gasright, dit is 'n goeie bal wat Gasright daar wen naast Botha die oë een. Sadournay is onder die bal in, die Springbokke is daar. Losgemaal net buitekant die kwartgebied van Frankryk. Suid-Afrika wil bitter graag hierheen afneem, maar hulle gaan dit nie reg kry nie, Hubert. Goeie skop van Hubert. 7 toetse vir Frankryk, 25 jaar oud.
Ek sien daar het naast Botha van die hoë skop gebruik gemaak om ons kans onder druk te sit. Ongelukkig kon ons nie die balbesit terugwen nie.
Hubert, Pinot onder druk van Tiaan Strauss. En dan sit die Law. Weet nie of hy dit kon doen nie, hy het van buite sy kwartgebied tot binne sy kwartgebied beweeg. Skeieregter het dit gesien. Goeie skeieregterskap daar so van meneer Brian Kingsney. Suid-Afrika is binnekant die kwartgebied. Die twee centers van die Franse wat ons daar gesien het, Frank Manel en die Law. Kan die Springbokke hierdie lynstaanbal wen. Skepskop geleentheid vir naast Botha. Adolf van Land. Helper Adrian Rigterbal, Bartman het beheer van hierdie bal. En die Springbok om beskikbaar stel, is hy beskikbaar vir Gasright, nog steeds die Springbok voorspelers wat vorentoe beweeg. Gasright wag vir hom, naast Botha, kom die skepskop poging van naast Botha, is 'n goeie poging hierdie. Hy is tussen die paal deur, Suid-Afrika voor. By 283ste toetspunt, naast Botha, 'n bal wat hy goed getref het. Hy is hoog tussen die paal deur. En sielkundig gaan hierdie skepskop baie vir Suid-Afrika beteken.
Dan 'n absolute goeie maaldryfbeweging deur die voorspelers. Spasie geskep van Naas Botha, dis om toegelaat om daai 3 punte oor te sit.
Briljante skepdoelpoging. Terug vir die spel, die Franse wat die bal wil afneem buitekant die kwartgebied van Suid-Afrika. Hulle kry hom, weggebartie Amari. Hiervan hou die Franse skare, Hubert. Aan die oorkant van Doornay, goeie verdediging aan die kant van Suid-Afrika, Ian Strauss. Hubert. Kom die skepskop poging van Pinault. Juris Edwards, eerste keer in 'n toets wat hy in die bal vat.
Dan baie goeie tackle daar deur Willie Hills, baie belangrik dat ons die Franse van hulle lyn van hardloop af tackle.
Dani Gerber. Son is nou weer agter die wolke uit. Hierdie toetswedstryd is so 8 minute oud. Suid-Afrika loop voor met 3 punte teenoor 0. 'n Skepskop aangeteken deur Suid-Afrika se kaptein Naas Botha. Interessant, hier is nou 'n kort lyn staan. Rouma, wat ons daar sien, met die sweetband. Groot blok van die Franse. Rom bedoel, maar die Springbokke wil hom afneem. Ian Strauss. Ek is beïndruk met Ian Strauss tot dusver, Harry.
Ja nee, hy speel baie goed daar, hy was nie omkant daar nie. Dit was 'n losspel situasie en hy kon die bal speel daarso.
Transkop aan Suid-Afrika. Die skouerskutte van Naas Botha. Al wat hy laag skop. Binne sy doelgebied, Sadurnay. Baie tyd, by hom is James Small. Maar belangrik, Suid-Afrika is weer binne die gebied van Frankryk.
Dan ons sal hierdie Franse moet dophou. Hulle kyk gereeld vir aanvalbewegings, al is dit van binne hulle eie kwartgebied af. Hulle is, soos ek sê, is meesters om die ekstra man te bewerkstellig. En dit gaan kom, hulle is net besig om alles op te som hierso.
Bal is in die hande van die loskakel Pinault. En wat hy diep skop vir sy voorspelers. Onder die bal Adrie Geldnys. Op die 10 meter lyn van die Franse. Springbok voorspelers lyk goed in hierdie vroeë stand.
And the rolling maul from South Africa. Right, the scrum half now wants it, and Botha will kick again. That is very high. Underneath it is Sadurni. Takes it well. Weber tries to dig it out for France. Succeeds in doing so. And slides the ball into touch.
I believe the pattern for the game, though, has already been set, Alistair, in the opening minutes, because it looks as though the big South African pack are going to dominate the line out, and the French backs, I think, will be living off scraps.
A short line called by South Africa, won untidily by them. The referee already indicating that South Africa will get the scrum put in unless they play advantage. No, they don't, so the scrum goes to South Africa. So Heinrich Rogers on this side for South Africa. The put in from right. Pick up by Strauss and fed inside to Bartman. And Richter tries to dig it out for South Africa. Wright has it. Muller. Again the high ball. And back goes Villar to make touch.
Yes, and the fact that South Africans have had a hard tour in France, and I think the fact that they are on tour helps them get better organised, and certainly the first 10 minutes of the game they've dominated territorially. Only at the opening kick-off did France actually go in the South African 22 metres. Since then it's been all South Africa.
Willie Hills came on tour as a prop forward, but has filled in as a hooker. This is why his throwing in is vital for South Africa. Harry Roberts, the former Leicester player, is on the bench again. He was widely expected to be the first choice hooker, but his throwing in has let him down, and Willie Hills has stepped in to take the number 2 jersey for this match. The French scrum. Huébert. There's a knock-on by the scrum half. Unforced error. And South Africa have the chance to attack again. French penalised for bringing it down. The referee's description quite clear. The French front row bringing the ball down. Looked like Gallard, the tight head prop. Botha gets this chance of a kick at goal.
Yes, there's an almighty battle going on between those two front rows. Remember, South Africa have virtually picked 3 prop forwards. No wonder the France boys can't hold them up, Alistair.
The South Africans about 5 kilograms heavier in the pack, making it count so far. Lars Botha. Despite the boos, and the ball just off the edge of the post, and a let-off for France. Botha struck it so well, just sliding wide. The long drop out from Penaud. Back goes Rhys Edwards. And again a monstrous kick from South Africa. That tactic appearing to be to drive the French back into their own 22, force them to give the line out. And South Africa, with their bigger line out forwards, perhaps confident in that area.
Yes, they have faith in their own pack, and quite rightly so. I don't think we'll see any risk being taken by the South African backs in this game.
Penaud restarts again. It's a comfortable one for Heldenhuis to take. This is Richter, but intercepted by Caban. The counter-attack, Delo. Meynel. Caban again, and Huébert, the knock-on by Small. Knock-on by James Small, the South African, just when the French looked to be developing a dangerous counter-attack.
Yes, we could be in for the classic confrontation here. The big, organised South African pack, dominating possession. But when these French backs get any sniff of the ball, I'll guarantee they'll be running it.
Sessions, the number 8. The long pass, but it's a laboured pass as well, and South Africa steal it. Penalised by the referee, Mr. Kimsey. The crowd didn't like it too much. South Africa looked to have stolen the ball then. And Penaud will boot it into touch just outside the South African 22. French throw in from Gonzalez. Untidy ball. Stolen by South Africa, Botha. And the quick throw in from France. This is Saint-André. Nothing doing for him, so drives it into touch. Gets a deflection off a South African hand, so not spotted by the touch judge, Mr. Spreadbury, on the far side. So a South African line. Hills throws in. Won by France, but penalised.
France really do have a problem in this area. I think that's the 5th or 6th line out of the game, and I can't remember France winning one yet.
Which means that South Africa, and in the person of Hugh Rees-Edwards this time, will be happy to punch the ball into touch, as they get the put-in on this one as well. The new law states that they get the put-in after a penalty. They pump it into touch, they get the next put-in. And they've called a two-man line-out this time. Heldenhouse at the front, Milan at the back. Heldenhouse has it, but intercepted by Rouma. Free kick though. France penalised again, and it's going to be an attack from Botha. He's going to hoist the high ball. That's for his makes touch. Hills throws in for South Africa. Rouma gets a huge hand to it. South Africa leading by 3 points to 0. "15 minutes gone. Lineouts have all been going South Africa's way so far. That was untidy. Hills tries to tidy it up. South Africa already have the scrum point.
Yes, France are clearing the lines with some nice kicks, but they really can't get out of the grip, and the South Africans have got them in, basically because they just can't win the line-out ball.
Garth Wright hoists. VR goes back. And his kick is nearly charged down by Small. This is dangerous for South Africa. Milan has it. Wright wants it, digging it out the scrum half. Not coming though, and France penalised. And France really going to pieces at the moment, failing to make their touch and then giving away the penalty.
Yes, this is pressure rugby, Alistair. They can't get the grip out of their own 30-metre line, and you can't hang around there for too long, because eventually somebody will give a penalty away, and here's the guy who's going to make you pay for it.
Last Botha, the ball falling over for him. Doesn't seem to have much of a set routine, unlike the other place kickers. But the effect is just as he intended. Naas Botha kicks South Africa further ahead. South Africa lead by 6 points to 0.
Yes, he has a strange kicking style. He just kicks the ball between the posts all the time.
Yes, it's always very casual, isn't it? He doesn't have the deliberate style of a Grant Fox or even a John Webb, but he still slots it between the posts. South Africa's leading point scorer, 286 points in tests now. As South Africa goes 6 points ahead. Garth Wright, the scrum half. Again, this tactic, keeping the ball in play. Now France will counter-attack. This is Meynell, policed by Muller. Meynell kicks ahead. No advantage played. France will get a choice, I think, way back where Garth Wright kicked the ball in the first place. There was a man offside, and so I think France will get the scrum put in over on that far side of the field.
Yeah, that's a good law, that new change, because you cannot run in front of the kicker, which is quite correct, and that will allow teams to counter-attack, which again should suit France's style of play.
Faubert, the blindside winger's come in, and here he is, Saint-André, but bundled over. And France want that ball. It's not coming though, and South Africa will get the put in. Philippe Saint-André, the right winger, came in from the right-hand side to make the extra man, but he was positively thumped over in the tackle. France failed to get the ball back, and South Africa win the put-in. Strike it well through Helens. Walker on his left foot. Again, a good touch kick from the South African skipper.
His left foot, right foot, it makes no difference to this guy. He'll put 40, 50 metres on it each time he kicks it.
Again, a short line called by France. Need to try and make some sense out of these lineups. They win it through Caban, but it's scrappy, and this is Rouma now. Again, Caban penalised, back of the line, and that's a real problem area for the French.
Yes, and knowing the French like we do, they'll get frustrated at this. They really need some more possession.
Now, Naas Botha looks as though he's going to try that high hanging bomb kick again. Up it goes. Session, the captain, is underneath it. Good defensive play from the French. Back it comes for Faubert. And Penaud kicks to the open spaces behind James Small. And a good bit of play from France. South African line is won at the front again by Malan. And Botha opens out this time, but only as far as Muller. Muller's kick bouncing over the head of Sadouni for the line out.
I find it really strange watching France over the last 2 or 3 seasons, because their big weakness has been the line out, and they keep going into matches with only one line out jumper. Nowadays you've got to have 2, and most teams have got 3.
Jean-Marc Cadieux, number 4, is small for second row. He's 6'3", and really doesn't win his share of the line out. As Faubert hoists, and underneath it is Olivier. Good kick from the scrum half, making ground, but again leading to a line out. Where France so far have had all the problems. The shortened line out again this time. They've taken the flank forward Tordo away from it, and the prop Gallard. But South Africa win it again. This is Bartman. France steal it. Tordo can't hold it, and piling through goes Malan. But the knock on in the first place from the South African. There it is. Anticipating well, but just knocking it on. Faubert. Little chip. Went for Saint-André. Richter tries to tidy. Rhys Edwards is in trouble, but scrambles the ball into touch. And another French line. Now variations will they try this time? Weber, the scrum half, is talking. The position is put forwards exactly where he wants them. The long throw from Gonzalez is meant for Caban at the back, and at last France win a line out, and Sadorni comes into the line, and Gonzalez. Now they want quick ball. This is Delo spotting a little gap, but losing the ball. And France seem unable to put the attacks together.
It's mainly because the possession they get in is so scrappy. When you're living off scraps and you get the ball every 2 or 3 minutes, you start to panic, you make mistakes, and that's just what the French backs did then.
Well, the front row's trying to make up for it, driving into the South Africans at that set scrum. And pushing them back a little bit. Good drive from the French. Going untidily. So can they repeat it again? This time the South African scrum is a lot more steady. And right feeds Botha. And Botha in trouble, hounded by Caban. But gets out of it. Botha in a little bit of trouble there as Laurent Caban came charging at him. He twisted and turned and then put the ball onto his other foot and got away with it.
It's called the old head.
34-year-old Naas Botha, who played against France back in 1980. And Dani Gerber, the centre, the only two to have played against France before. Gonzalez again throws long. That's meant for Cadieux, who'd moved to the back there. And Weber, the little chip ahead again. Small is right, well positioned, and kicks ahead to chase himself. This is Sadorni. Sadorni now. Inside, Villar and Rouma. And the bodies fly in there. And the South Africans penalised this time for diving over. Just when France wanted some good quick ball.
This was a nice chip by Herber, the French scrum half, but really I must question his tactics at the moment. Whenever he's getting the ball, he's trying to chip into the box, and I really don't think that's the style of play that suits France. What they should do, when they get the ball, they really should attack them out wide. At the moment, they're just not doing that. South Africa seem to have them in a real grip.
6-0 to South Africa. "28 minutes gone, and the first penalty attempt for France. This is Sébastien Villar, who came into the side in the Five Nations last year and kicked some valuable goals for France. Youngest player in the team is only 21. That really was not anything like one of his better kicks. Sliced off the outside of his foot, wide of the post. Botha doesn't make touch. Weber now with the counter-attack, but again that little chip from Weber into space this time. Back goes Small and scrambles it into touch.
He likes that little chip, doesn't he? But I can't help thinking with about 5 or 6 French backs outside him, he may have been better to have used the ball.
France call a short line. Rouma's at the front, Caban is at the back, and Rouma wins this one, but he's tackled by 2 South Africans. Weber has it though. This is Penaud. Penaud runs at the South Africans. Menel and Delo and Session, and outside is Saint-André. Philippe Saint-André kicks for the corner, dives in, but no try given. Ball coming in off the corner flag. South Africa escaping this time.
Yes, but here we see the danger of the French backs. This is the way they've got to play it. run at them in midfield, try and get outside them. They've all got wonderful hands. Look at this, number 8, big guy, Sessegnon. Beautiful behind the back pass. And real danger.
Yes, the ball coming in off the corner flag there. So the dropout from Naas Botha. He's kicked well this afternoon. Half an hour gone, South Africa leading by 6 points to 0, but France now starting to run the ball. The flick on from Delo, Meynell can't hold it. The knock on spotted by referee Brian Kinsey. And France appear...
Behind them, there's a buzz of excitement around the stadium. They've got to do it more often if they're going to win this game.
Again, France get a good shove on against South Africa. South Africa have trouble. And the scrum goes through the 90 degrees, and so they have to start again.
It's quite amazing that year in, year out, the French scrum is really, really effective in the Five Nations Championship. It's strange that they don't put as much emphasis on the line-out.
South African number 8 is Strauss. Kick through from Rhys Edwards. And a good ground-making kick as well from the new fullback. Hugh Rhys Edwards, first cap today, 31 years old. 6-0 to South Africa. Coming up to half-time. Gonzalez, the hooker, won again by South Africa. But illegally this time.
Yes, once again we saw it was the outside arm. Old habits die hard. They've got to use the inside arm, or the referee quite rightly will penalise them.
Sebastien Viard makes touch. I don't know what his forwards will make of that. Another line out for South Africa. And the ploy of bringing Hills in to cope with the throwing in duty seems to have worked so far. Again won by Geldenhuys. Straight though this time, so I spoke too soon. Fullback Sadoni poised to come into the line, but Payneau gets a bad ball and has to double back. Finds Sweber outside in the flick on to Viard. Viard though is well tackled by Richter. And the ball into touch again for a South African line.
Once again, as we saw, give Pienaar a little bit of space, a little bit of room, and he really is an exciting prospect. He's only young, but he had a great season last year in the Five Nations.
Intercepted by Gonzalez. The referee unhappy with the line out. The French get a free kick. This is Sweber, takes it quickly, finds Armory, and Cadieux drives on. Payneau into space, that's meant for Viard. Back goes Bartman. Now Strauss, the number 8, covering there. Again another new cap and covering well. Tian Strauss.
Yeah, this is a better kick from France. They're going to kick, they're better kicking into space. Keep it away from the touch lines. Let their pacey three-quarters chase after the ball like they did then.
France call a two-man line. Rumaz at the front and wins it and feeds Gonzalez. Gonzalez now. Quebert. Well taken by Payneau. Now France want quick ball. South Africa steal it though. Illegally. Are penalised. This gives France a better chance of a kick at goal. Viaz indicates that that's exactly what he wants to do. 5 minutes to go to half-time. South Africa leading 6-0.
And really that was danger. If that had come back on France's side, but a South African hand illegally smuggles it back, and this gives France a real chance to open their scoring.
Sebastian Villa, again slices the ball wide. The second kick missed. South Africa still leading by 6 points to 0, and Naas Botha wants to take a quick one, decides against it, waits for his forwards to get into position, and restarts. Rumaz underneath it, nobody can take that one, straight into touch. A lot of pressure now on young Villa. That's the second kick he's missed, and as you know, Alistair, when you start missing your penalty kicks, the pressure comes on you more and more. Yes, none of them look easy once you get into a missing frame of mind. None of them look easy. The confidence goes. France really need points on the board. They're going to have to get it through running. And this is Maynel, so powerful, bullocking his way through a couple of tackles. French regroup to the right. This is Delot. Straight into touch again. Curious tactic. Oh, the ball came back slowly. So naive. I mean, if they're going to kick, they better keep it on the island and chase it. Not only was it a poor kick, but it was tactically incorrect. A long time coming. There's the chance for the referee just to police that gap between the two sides. The Hills with the throw in for South Africa. Throws long. Caban gets his hands to it, but Richter tidies up for South Africa. And Botha in his own 22. Again, that huge boot driving the ball into touch. The half-time whistle approaches. Again, South Africa win a French line-out. Bartman has it and drives on. And right now the scrum half to Richter. Richter driving through one tackle. Penalised though for playing the ball on the floor. So another mistake, another infringement spotted by referee Kinsey. Peno, the outside half free kick for touch. South Africa leading by 6 points, and then as we approach the end of the first half, Steve, it's been a bit scrappy, hasn't it?
Yes, South Africa seem to have a stranglehold on the game because they're monopolising the possession. And really, it's not very pretty to watch, but it suits Naas Botha down to the ground because he's used to be playing behind big forwards for Northern Transvaal and dominating the game, and that's just what he's doing at the moment.
So we're into the last minute of the first half. France yet to score as they try to throw long, and Caban wins this one, and Gallard, the prop, drives on, and Huébert again to the narrow side. The chip's meant for Saint-André to chase. Saint-André and the hooker Willie Hills tangle. French crowd don't like it. It's nothing spotted by referee or touch judge.
Yes, I think Willie Hills realised he may be exposed for a bit of pace here, so he resorted to some skullduggery and got away with it.
Yes, a clear infringement there, barging the man off the ball, but not spotted. And South Africa win this line out, and Botha kicks for touch. Naas Botha, 34 years of age, captain, playmaker, goal kicker extraordinaire. Another France. Short line, Caban, Huebert, Penaud, the long pass, Meynel. And again, France having problems in the line-outs. The French bench there looking concerned, because that is one area in which they've had no joy at all this afternoon. South African scrum half, Garth Wright. Scrum collapses though. Right, hoists. Sadorni is underneath it. The chasing tackler is Olivier, but Sadorni stands up in the tackle and lays the ball back, but Richter gets a boot through for South Africa, and Herber is there. Dani Herber has scored another try for South Africa. On the stroke of half-time, Dani Herber scores his 18th try in international matches for South Africa.
It's simple rugby, but it's very effective. Naas both are putting up a high ball. South African forwards there very quickly. Big hoof through from Richter. And who's the man who's always on the spot? You'll guarantee it. Dani Gerber. Here we see it again from the set piece. Hoisting it behind the French three-quarters. Full back in all sorts of problems. South African forwards loving every minute of it. And Gerber on the shoulder to finish it off.
And close enough to the post for the formality of a conversion for Naas Botha. So at half-time the score here is France 0, South Africa 13. France with a mountain to climb in the second half, 13 points adrift, restart. Heldenhuis for South Africa gathers the ball, and South Africa try this rolling maul. Right, back to Botha, in his 22, and into touch. A disappointing first period for France. Don't seem to play quite as well away from Parc des Princes. Well, next week the second test will take place in South Africa through Richter. The kick from Botha, driving play back, Sadorni can only make touch. South Africa with Rhys Edwards. Botha says no, hang on. And South Africa this time with the shortened line. The back is Milan. Driving on this time the French. French plenty to do. The pick-up from Session, the captain. Can he inspire the revival? Held up in the tackle and driven back. But France win it again. South Africa diving across. French get the penalty.
Penalty to France, Alistair, but I'm still amazed at the French tactic there. It was their own put-in, they were 40 metres out. I thought they must have run the ball wide. But Sicily on the captain tries to pick up from the base of the scrum and gets nowhere.
Sebastien Viard then with this long kick distance. Important kick for France, right at the beginning of the second half. He strikes that one much better than the two previous ones, and successfully Sébastien Viard gets France on the scoreboard. Right at the start of the second half, the penalty to get France back into the match.
Yes, France needed that, and so did he. Good encouragement for the second half. Now I think we've got a game in our hands. If France can come back quickly.
Bouta's drop out. Kleber. Olivier, the number 11, is underneath it. Doesn't go as far as him. South Africa counter-attack through right, and Herber stepping back inside and into trouble, but strong enough to stay up in the tackle. The referee takes a tumble. And South Africa win the ball. A big, powerful forwards driving on. This is Strauss. Dumped by Delo. South Africa have it again. Botha will drive play back. Forces France back onto the defensive. Lars Botha is going to make sure that all the play is as near to the French line as possible.
If you've got a 10-point lead, there's the man who protects it for you. You've got to earn your ground against Botha, because every time he gets it, he'll put you straight back from whence you came.
This time, a short line. Rouma wins it for France. Richter looks as though he's offside, but a French knock on and an attacking scrum for South Africa.
Here we saw it. Big mistake by Herber. He can't afford to do that. Attacking position now from South Africa. This looks dangerous.
South African scrum, controlled at the back by Strauss. Dink through by Garth Wright. The try has been given. James Small happy to touch down there. The young winger, a beautiful kick through from Garth Wright, and a try for South Africa.
Yes, and that little mistake by the French scrum half has led to a big error. Great chip through from Garth Wright. Saw the gap, put it behind the French winger, and James Small made no mistake.
Yes, Viard slipped number 11 there. Now when Small picks it up, can't see from that whether his foot seemed to slip into touch on that far side before he touched the ball down, but the referee, the touch judge, was right there. So was the referee. South Africa go 18 points to 3 ahead. And Botha's kick. One flag says up, the second flag says it went over as well. And what a kick from Lars Botha. A bit of hesitation from the two touch judges there. They finally came to an agreement, and a very important kick from Lars Botha.
There's not much European harmony there, Alistair.
Restart. Botha again will kick long. Viard is back. Now Viard tries to drive the ball into touch. It's kept in play by Rhys Edwards, and Botha will make touch this time. Gonzalez, French hooker to throw in. He throws at the back, aimed for Rouma, who gets a hand to it. France are bundled back. This time the little chip ahead is from France. South Africa happy to help it into touch. It's Benazi, the replacement. South Africa now try the rolling ball. Successfully get it moving forward. They'll be happy to waste all the time they can in this second half. 20 points to 3 ahead. France with an awful lot to do. As South Africa win the ball again through right. The long pass to Herber. Ball loose. Tordo re-pick up from Maynell, but intercepted by Rhys Edwards. Small in space. First knock on though given, and the French will get the scrum put in. Benazi, the replacement, usually a number 8.
Substitute.
It's not clear at the moment which Frenchman is ready to go off.
I've got a feeling it might be Ruma, who's injured now. If he goes off, they've got really serious problems because he is their one and only line out forward. They need to keep him on the pitch.
He's got a fair amount of bandaging on that right knee, and he doesn't look very happy about it. It's not Ruma though, it's Kadier.
That's okay, he can go off.
Don't think he wants to though. Very dapper shorts from the French doctor. Jean-Marc Kadier is helped off the field. And Abdel Benazi, Moroccan-born player, prepares to take his place. To have a doctor's clearance before he can go on. Now he does. Benazi will go into the second row alongside Ruma. He has played there for France before. Normally a number 8. Scrappy ball from South Africa. Strauss tries to tidy. South Africa penalised. Boosted by that first success early in this second half, will try another kick at goal.
There's the crowd giving them the bird here. They want to see the French run the ball, and I must admit I agree with the crowd. He may get 3 points, but really France need to lift the game. They need to lift the tempo. And what's more, they really do need a try.
There's still plenty of time left in this second half. Sebastian Villar has the task of trying to narrow the gap. Measures up the angle and the distance and gives it a good thump, but off. That's it. Waits for the French to come up to him. There's a little push with Jean-François Tordo. No malice meant. And Botha restarts. Ruma takes the ball well, but has Richter hanging on to him. Weber digs it out. Payneau. Rhys Edwards. Driven back and shepherds the ball into touch. So France with a lot to do. France 3, South Africa 20.
Yes, they have the position now, but their problem is, can they get the possession? A
South African throw as well. Willie Hills, the hooker, just asking for further instructions from his scrum half, Garth Wright, before throwing the ball in. Armory takes a bit of a tumble. France get the scrum put in. And look at those front rows, they're desperate to get down. Let us at them, they say.
Happy little Toby Jugs, aren't they?
Only eyes lit up when they had a chance of a scrum there. The French push. Session controls it at the back and tries to drive on. And Huébert has it now. And Penaud steps back inside. Penaud to the narrow side. Penaud still goes and Penaud scores! Alain Penaud, the outside half, dances his way through and scores the first try for France.
And this is just what the French crowd and the French team needed. Good control of the back of the scrum by Cecilion, but it's twisted, there's not much space for Penaud and he's forced onto the blind side. But look at the pace and the power of the young lad. That's just the lift they need.
There's a bit of tugging on a jersey somewhere on the way back.
So when Penaud sees it, the blind side's the only option he can go.
There's a bit of jersey tugging there that takes one of the defenders out, but he still has to beat three more. Good try. And Viard has kicked one penalty and missed three, and this is not the easiest conversion by any means. Again, he's striking them much better, but still wide. South Africa 20, France 8. But that try will have restored a lot of French confidence. Kick restart is from Lars Botha. Rouma again catches it. And Huébert. Again Penaud. And Tordo. And Huébert again. And Penaud and inside to Meynell. Meynell shrugs off two tackles and finds support from Benazi. The support again from Caban. And Gonzalez drives on but can't hold the ball. And France are really bubbling.
Yes, classic French, isn't it? They just scored a try, they looked dead, they were out of the game, they were lethargic. Suddenly a bit of magic from one of their three quarters and they're right back into it again. And the crowd are right behind them.
Strategic injury perhaps for the South African. Important to take time out at this point, just when the French have got their momentum going, and this is Milan who has gone down. I'm sure he really is injured.
I'm absolutely positive, yeah. They're right there in some ways. I know it's a bit of a negative tactic, but you've just got to slow the French down, you've got to play them at your pace. Once they start stepping up 2 or 3 gears, you've got real problems.
Milan having some treatment. Perhaps we did him a disservice. The French doctor with shorts has also come onto the field. Long way to run for not very much. And the French get into that scrum with eagerness. The French front row lifts up their opposite number and are penalised though for doing so. And neither side happy about that.
Well, they got penalised for it, Alistair, but that South African front row, I think, would take some lifting.
Now, Rhys Edwards to calm things down for South Africa. And they'll get the put into this line out as well. Hugh Rhys Edwards They thought that they brought him in as full-back this time in place of Theo van Rensburg, largely as an insurance policy because Naas Botha has a groin strain, and maybe it was significant that Rhys Edwards took that kick instead of Botha. With the throw-in, won by France this time. And Penaud runs again and gets support. And Huebert. And out it comes. Meynell, there's a man over here. If the ball can reach Saint-André, it can't. And France forced backwards, but they have the ball again through Huebert. Huebert and Meynell and Penaud. A little chip through from Sadoni. But Rhys Edwards was equal to that one and drove the ball into touch.
It's quite amazing. It's now like watching a completely different team. They score a try through 3 quarters. It becomes infectious. They win their first line out for about half an hour, and suddenly France look really dangerous again.
France have another injured player. This is the replacement Benassi. He's only been on a few minutes. And already in the walls. Whilst he is receiving treatment, France have been awarded a penalty. Some foul play spotted on the far side of the field. Let's see if we can see it now.
Maybe some foul play, but I tell you, there was some beautiful French handling here. This is when they're at the most dangerous. And really some good full-back work by Rhys Edwards saved the day. Here we see it again, of course. France really haven't won a lot of line-out ball, but you can see the difference when they do get that kind of ball. And there on the far side, we saw a bit of skullduggery on Benazir. That's where the incident happened.
A punch from Adrie Geldenhuys. Benazir won the line-out, and for that, took a thumping. Watch it as he goes up again here. Gets his hands to the ball there. And look at this left haymaker coming in from Geldenhuys. Totally unnecessary. Well spotted by the touch judge over on that far side, Tony Spreadbury.
We know now why they haven't been winning much ball.
I think they'd want to after that. Benazzi still receiving treatment from the French doctor, whilst Viars lines up this kick. Strikes it so well, but again wide of the posts, and Viars really having a bad day with his kicking. And another replacement is getting ready. Look at that thump on Benazzi.
Well, the touch judge saw that, Alistair. As far as I'm concerned, he should go to the referee and the bloke should be sent off.
The restart, high hanging ball, nobody can handle it. Benazzi looks a bit better than he was a couple of minutes ago. And the second French substitute warming up, not needed at the moment. It's Geldenhuys, and this is right. Botha, left foot, good cut, good touch.
It's a shame really, because that injury really has sort of sapped the fire out of the French team. They've got to lift it up again now. 2 or 3 minutes ago they were looking really dangerous.
4-man line. Benazzi's at the front of it. Rumar's at the back. That's won by Caban, but South Africa steal it. Botha will drive play back. Sadoni is well positioned now. Will Sadoni counter-attack? South Africa offside, and so France will get the scrum put in back where Botha kicked it just outside his own 22.
Yes, the referee is quite correct. The people in front of the kicker can't move 1 step forward until they're put onside by the kicker. It's a big mistake, and it's a good scrum position here for France.
Session has it at the back as France drive forward. And Bartman penalised again. It's a good scrum drive from France. Now, will they take a kick at goal or will they run this one? They'll still trust VR. The crowd aren't too happy.
Difficult decision really for the captain. It looks like a relatively easy 3 points, but you can't help thinking to yourself, well, if they only got the momentum going. Here we saw a great scrum by France. Good control at the back. And you can see the Springboks getting offside for the penalty.
So VR is striking the ball well. That's, I'm sure, why he's confident enough to have another go at this one. But it's not going between the sticks, and time is beginning to run out on France. France 8, South Africa 20. The groans of the crowd tell the story. A desperately disappointing day for Sébastien Viard. Missing another kick. And another stoppage though, this time an injury to Jean-François Tourdeau, the flank forward from Nîmes. French physio and doctor there. And Tourdeau looks as though he's going to come off. Is he coming off? Yes, he is. So will France need another substitute? And getting ready. Benetton. Philippe Benetton. Vagen. Flank forward. And Richter gets a boot to it. The knock-on from South Africa.
He likes that big hoof through, does Richter. That's what led to the first try.
French front row desperately get in there. And Weber, the little chip ahead, went for Saint-André to chase. Olivier is bundled over, but Rhys Edwards is back in support. The mark given to Olivier. Good defensive play from the newcomer. Taps it. Right. Hasn't made touch. Finds his opposite number. Weber now. Will they counter-attack? VR is held. South African defenders getting there in numbers, but the boot through from France. Rhys Edwards, the long pass inside to Botha. And Botha makes absolutely sure of his touch. Calm it down, Lars Botha says. Calm it down. We're 20 points to 8 ahead.
And I'm 34 and I need a rest.
Weber, Meynel, newcomer Benetton can't hold it. South Africa now, and Botha will make sure of his touch. France keen to get the ball in the hands, desperate to attack, but they can't afford to make silly mistakes, and they counter-attack this time through the quick line out. Weber, driving tackle from Bartman. And the knock-on by France.
Yes, unfortunately, it's a bit of catch-up rugby coming here by France, and they're running when they don't have to run. They're making little mistakes. The game's becoming stop-start, and that suits South Africa down to the ground.
Another injury, this time James Small, scorer of the second try, got a bash on the head. 13 minutes to go. Plus injury time. We've had a fair amount of injury time this second half. France have brought both substitutes on. South Africa have the put in. Botha, the little chip through. Plenty of space there. Back goes Weber. The counter-attack, Sadoni. Rhys Edwards takes it well. Long pass finds Small. He drives the ball into touch. Good intelligent play from the South Africans. French line, Gonzalez aims for Ruma, won by South Africa, and Botha kicks it away, but South Africa penalised. Just checking whether it's a penalty or a free kick. A penalty it is, so that he can put the ball direct into touch and have the put in to the next line out.
That's the very important line out it is, Alistair. They've got to win this one. It's their own throw. They're 20 metres out. Time is ticking on. They need possession here, and they need to use it.
The gap, 12 points. So a try converted would certainly put the cat among the pigeons. Gonzalez aims for Caban at the back. Quaybert, and again a French knock-on. A South African knock-on as well, so the South African scrum, really unforced errors from the French. South Africa, scrappy ball, Quaybert gets a hand to it, Payno can't hold it. And Strauss counter-attacks for South Africa, good drive from him. And Herber knows what he wants to do with the ball, making sure of touch.
Great play though by Tiaan Strauss. He rescued a risky situation there, drove forward, made 5-6 metres and allowed South Africa to clear the lines.
Scrum half Aubin Quaybert fought his way back into the side to replace Fabien Gaultier. And calling the shots at scrum half. Knock on again. France have traditionally had trouble before Christmas. The South African coach John Williams there daren't risk a smile just yet. His team are 20 points to 8 ahead. And Tiaan Strauss picks up. The drive again from Helden Hayes. Knock on though. After last night's rain, the surface was a little bit greasy, the ball difficult to handle. Both sides making unforced errors as we go into the last few minutes of the match, with South Africa leading by 20 points to 8. But France, whose scrum has been so strong. The pick-up from Session. Good defence though from South Africa. Quaybert, Payno, the long pass. Now there's room for France. Saint-André lays the ball back. VR, Quaybert, there's space here now. Payno, Benazi. Two thumping tackles from South Africa. South African bodies going in, but France win it again. The knock-on from France. I must say, Steve, it looked as though there were 1 or 2 offside there.
Yes, it's these Springbok bodies diving over the ball, trying to kill it. I think South Africa are very lucky to get away with that one. But again, you saw flashes of French brilliance. You can't help thinking, Alistair, it's a day for France of what might have been if only. At times they look so dangerous, other times they're giving away silly knock-ons, giving possession away so easily.
Perhaps over-anxious. An area where they have had a good afternoon is in the scrum. The crowd again want them to put the shove on, but South Africa have it this time, and Botha thumps a long touch. His team leading by 20 points to 8. 8 minutes to go, plus injury time, so there's still time for France if they can string the passes together. The referee, Mr. Kinsey, shrugs his shoulders. But really on the receiving end of that pass from Weber.
I think that just about sums up France's day, actually.
Yes, they didn't need that. They do have the scrum put in. And Session picks up. South Africa's defence up so quickly, bursting through the middle. But Strauss now for South Africa. Delo on the counter. Delo flicks it behind his back. Lovely pass, Caban. And then over now on the outside. This is VR. VR for the corner. VR stands up in the tackle, gets support, and coming back for South Africa. Small gets a knee to the ball and kicks it into touch.
And here we see it again, French magic, breathtaking stuff. Great break down the middle of the park, 50, 60 yards, flowing movement. And if only we could have seen more of that.
So camped on the South African line. The French put in and drive and hold it through Session at number 8. The South African front row in trouble. Session with the pickup, but good defence again. Bartman is there to hold him. And South Africa will get the put into the scrum. The crowd won't like that, but France had the ball, failed to play it back on their side, and the new law states that the put-in must therefore go to South Africa.
You can't help thinking that Bartman's about 4 yards offside, but he can...
South Africa under pressure in the front row again. Referee Mr. Kinsey just has a word with both front rows. I think the French can sense their advantage in that department. Wright gets the ball back for Botha. Botha makes touch now. Will France take a quick one? I think they will through VR. The support is from Sadorni. Delo. And opening up again to Maynell. The tackles come in from South Africa. And South Africa steal the ball again. But France have it now. Danger now. This is Saint-André. A lovely desperate tackle from Peter Muller, but Saint-André stays on his feet. Just a yard from the line. French must have it now. But again, can't get the ball back. And South Africa win the put-in.
Frustration all round for the French team and for the French crowd. And really, when you're 2 yards from the line and you're going forward, you've got to get the ball back.
Last 4 minutes or so of this match. South Africa 20 points to 8 ahead, but on their own line. Wright goes back. The scrum put into France now. Have a guess what they're going to try and do.
This is the big one.
They're going to go for the pushover, almost certainly. The scrum has collapsed and they'll have to start again. They've shunted South Africa back regularly this second half. The chances are they will go for to push over and drive. South Africa hold it well this time. Session feeds Weber. And the outside half, Penaud scores his second try of the match. It was all so simple. Alain Penaud, the outside half, with his second try of the game, skating through once more. But is there time?
And you've got to say, why go for a pushover try when you've got backs like this outside? Queuing up, 2 or 3 of them to score. We'll give it young Penaud to make it a brace on the day.
Big question mark though, is there time left for France to pull this game out of the fire? This conversion vital, 7 points behind they are now. This conversion giving them 2, would leave another try and a conversion to win the match. Is there time? VR. And over it goes, a vital kick from Sebastian VR. He's had an awful day with his kicking this afternoon, but that one was vital. 2 minutes to go and 5 points in it.
Big kick from the young man. That's just what France needed. 2 minutes to go, Alistair, but I can't help thinking there must be about 2 or 3 or 4 minutes injury time.
2 minutes on the clock, just under 2 minutes on the clock. The restart from Botha. France with the crowd roaring them on. Driving forward now. One try will level it. They get the penalty. They've got time to put it into touch and have the next line out. And they'll do that through Penaud, who's had a wonderful game, and what a kick from Alain Penaud, 23-year-old outside half, scored 2 tries, cool as you like, driving South Africa back towards their own line.
It's a great kick by Penaud, and they're a long way from the Transvaal now, these South Africans. They've got to dig deep. France need the ball.
Listen to that French support, and they urge their team to a famous victory. Gonzalez aims at the back, Caban gets a hand to it. Scrappy ball, Benazi goes back for France. South Africa steal it. The big prop forward has it now, and South Africa again open out. That's a bad pass from right. Herber knows what to do with it. Into touch. It goes. Now will France take the quick one. Olivier, the winger, is up to make sure that they don't.
That summed up the game right there, didn't it, really? Attacking French possession. All they had to do was win the line out, and they couldn't do it.
Two-man line called by South Africa. Caban goes through for France. Quaybert can't hold it. The South Africans go through. Scrappy play, but South Africa have it, and that's important. South Africa all the way to score. Will Bartman make it? No, what a great cover tackle from VR. It looked as though Bartman was clear to the line, but lack of pace perhaps told him, hauled down by the winger. And time marches on for South Africa. 20 points to 15 ahead. That try would have, if that had been a try, would have put them out of sight.
Great run though by Bartman. This is when, as a back row forward, you wish you were a winger. He's running in quicksand. But it's still a great attacking position for South Africa, and like you say, Alistair, it's eating up the clock. That's the most important thing as far as they're concerned.
In injury time now. South Africa have played 2 internationals on their return to international rugby. They lost to New Zealand. They lost to Australia. Can they beat France? Will it be third time lucky? French pudding. The touch is made. And the coolness of Sebastian VR. You must know exactly how many seconds there are left. There aren't many. South Africa won't be hurrying to get the ball into this line out. Time to hold your nerve, but France win it. Try to drive it round. Digging the ball out. Quaybert tries to get it out. The French win the scrum put in. 2.5 minutes of injury time gone. South Africa leading by 20 points to 15. But France have this scrum and attack. fullbacks in the line. This is Saint-André. Saint-André chips ahead, is bundled over in the tackle. Referee doesn't spot it, and Herber goes back for South Africa. And Bartman's in there, so strong. And this will eat up the time as well. And South Africa drive it forward. Still they go. And Wright has it, and Botha will kick. And back goes VR. An awful lot of space back there now. Will he counter-attack? I think he must. Outside him is Sadorni. Sadorni goes outside the tackle of Muller. Sadorni inside, has support. Delo. The flick back, the knock-on by VR. That nearly was a moment of brilliance to win the match.
Great play by the French backs, but what a pity. Once again, a little knock-on just stopped the flow just as they were absolutely getting in the stride. How they must have ruled those little knock-ons today.
Well into injury time. Possibly the last scrum of the match. Put in by South Africa. Garth Wright, the scrum half, will chip into position. So France, though, with the counter-attack, good tackle from Small. France, though, in space is Delo and Saint-André and Huber feeding inside to Caban. Caban can't hold it. South Africa tidy. Wright has it. Botha will kick as far away from his own line as he can, and back goes Payneau, and Sadorni is there as well. They must counter-attack. Payneau to Sadorni. Sadorni with VR. VR tackled by Small. Huber's in there. Meynell, Frank Meynell, running into space and finding the support outside him, and Saint-André. And back inside is Benazi. And the ball edges out and into touch, and that is the final whistle. South African forwards throw themselves to the ground in delight. A win for South Africa by 20 points to 15. Deserved win, Steve Smith?
I think so. I think you've got to look at the first half where South Africa really had a stranglehold on the game. But you've got to say the way the French came back in the second half is some wonderful back play.
There it is, the victorious skipper Naas Botha. First played international rugby 15 or so years ago. Been out in the wilderness for so long. They lost to Australia, they lost to New Zealand, but now they've beaten France by 20 points.